Welcome to the fly workshop. I haven't done one of these, so I'm gonna show you the basic fly tie-in. Um, once you start doing it, it gets addicting. I'll tell you. I don't where I fish. I don't use a lot of flies except for coho and as trailers on my spinning glows. But this is how you make them. Hello, guys. It's been it's been a while. I was thinking I would do a video on like just the basic trolling fly stuff. So, because I haven't done one, so I'm gonna do it. Let's start off with what you tie to. Uh, this one here, this is 1/4 inch airline tubing. And you use that if you want to make a fly like that will slide off of it'll slide over your knot on your leader. And then you have a rigid 1/8 inch tubing. It's used for airlines and like pneumatic devices. You can buy it. It's rigid. It's really hard. You have to, I glue mine onto this. Then you have the red, normally used in spinners, but you can use it to tie flies on. This one's pretty close to the ID of the 1/4, so you can slide it over knots sometimes. And it's automatically red. If that's what you're looking for. Then you have pre-made heads. These are called Bugbodz. Come in different, everything, it's fishing stuff. It comes in every single color you can possibly imagine. For me, these are the easiest heads to tie to because they have a stop at the head and they have a stop at this little tail. And then you have what's called bullet heads. And they come in, same deal, it's fishing stuff. They come in every color you can possibly imagine. And that's pretty much the heads. Then you got glues. I use fingernail polish. So you got red, I use red, black, clear. I use the gel. It doesn't tend to be as sloppy as the non-gel kind. I use Loctite super glue. In case, especially on the bullet heads, because you got such a small tie area, I glue the back of the bullet head. Then you have your magic strings. I use chartreuse red and white, and this is it's made by Atlas Mike. No knots required. And then buy yourself some good scissors. Don't go into your kid's crayon box and try to use their scissors because it won't work. And I use this magic tape instead of the super clear stuff. This stuff it sticks and resticks real good, but it doesn't stick super hard. You know, you can, even on paper, you can pull it back off, but it sticks decent enough to hold the material. Okay. When you get your material, it'll come in a big long, I don't know what you want to call it, skein or whatever. Try not to unroll it because they're a pain to get back into shape. I always cut it from the band side in. It tends to mess up the you know, if you try to cut it the other way, sometimes you'll mess up the threads. I'm going to go ahead and cut a bunch of these, and then I'll be right back. And with the craziness of instant change, there we go, we got them all cut. When when I first started doing this, I would stack them all. I would stack all my colors on top of each other, like this. And then I would line them up. And there's nothing wrong with this, it's quick. Oh, I wanted to show you this. See how on this one, the strands, this band on top is really wide. I don't know if you can you see that? Yeah. This band's really wide, so I'm going to take that band. If you get a batch that's the band's really wide on, thin that band down. And that way it doesn't get in your way when you're tying later. Okay. Went through. Oh, it's good to have a ruler, and then you can make your flies all the same every time. Anyway, I'm going to tie this one this way. Try to be quick for y'all. I can see, there we go. Oops, I'm on paper. This is not going to be good. It still should work. Once you got them taped, you can pick them all up. Sorry about that. Then cut the, you want a little bit of the sticky left above the edge there, above where the top of the material is. There we go. Then let's do it on a 1/8 inch. I cut these a little bit big, just so it's easier to tie. And it went flying, of course. There we go. Leave enough room where you can tie onto the strands. There we go. I can feel the end of my the end of my plastic is right. You can feel it in there. So you want to put your thumb right on the end of that plastic so you know where it is. You'll just take your tie thread and trap it with your thumb and just wrap away. See, I'm down on the strands. I'm not on the band itself. So I'm tying the strands. That way, when you're fishing it, and a fish nails it, your strands are tied into the fly rather than just the band. If you don't tie the strands in like I'm doing here, the flies won't last long because the fish will just tear the strands out every time they strike it. Alright, we got that done. Alright, then this looks a little extreme, but I'm going to cut the end of it off. Okay, that's what we got. Now I would take some of this Loctite super glue and glue right there at the top, and then I'd paint this. Obviously I'd paint the band, the thread, but I'm not going to do it on this one because I need to be able to, it has to dry. Okay, so that's then that's pretty much what it'll look like. If I can get it. I don't think I have my cheater up here. Let's see. Oh, I do. If you have a little piece of paper clip or anything, you can shove it up through there. That gives you your center, makes it easier to fold it all back. You know what's going on with it. Gives you a better idea how to get to your center when you're trying to tube it. There we go. I still got one going across the center, but you get the idea. That's it, all stacked. That's what it'll look like. And then that's it. If you wanted to run it normal, see how it's all mixed. Okay. Okay, now through the magic of the camera, there we go. Now this time, instead of being stacked, I'm going to run the whole thing side by side. And you got a lot more to wind on, but it gives you a different look when it's done. And then, well, since we're showing you, why don't we do this one on 1/4 inch tubing? Same deal. I cut them about 1 inch just so it's easy to tie, because you're going to trim it just like we did the other one. I run almost all mine backwards, so the tie is inside the fly. So I'm going to put the green on first because I want that to be on the outside. Then we got Blue Mirage. Then we got UV Extreme. And then we got the Glow. Same deal. Same deal on the tie-in. Find the end of your tube. You want to make sure that you're down on the strands when you're tying. Not just on the band. Oops. This tie stuff goes a long way. I got backups, but I mean I've tied a ton of flies and I haven't even used a whole one yet. Same deal. You got your tie back here, and this gives you, you'll cut your tube above your string. There you go. And then same deal on this. If I was doing this for real, I would take the Loctite and I would Loctite right around the top of that. Being careful not to get it down in there where your line goes, obviously, and then I would glue this just like normal. And then you flip it over. The 1/4 inch ones are a little easier to find center on. I'll use my cheater. Okay, there we go. Pop a tube on there. And that's how that one looks. I know we used the same exact material in both, but as this gets pulled through the water, you're going to see mostly the green instead of, see the difference in the fly? When we stack it, we see all the colors at once. When we roll it on there one color at a time, you see the main color more predominantly on the outside, and then the glow and everything is in the middle. And then that was about 5 inches of stock material. I noticed a lot of guys that I've seen on this year, they're fishing flies that are real thin, like these are, about 5 inches of material, instead of like, here's one from last year. See how much thicker that fly is? This is probably 8 inches of material compared to 5 inches of material. And it looked to me like almost everybody was going with thinner flies than the thicker ones. You know, most of the people that I saw posting with catches were, their flies were the thinner ones. So I changed, all the ones I'm tying now are thinner, about 5 inches or less, or about 5 to 3.5 inches, depending on the material. So This one will look all glow if you were to pull it the normal way, because it's supposed to be pulled inverted. But oops. But that's that. Then the tubes, CPVC. What didn't I cover? I think I covered everything. Thanks, guys. If you have any questions, leave a comment down there and I'll get to you. Other than that, good fishing. I tried to grab as many as I could that had different heads or different configurations. These are all the different ones I use. These are mostly Coho flies. But thanks for watching again, guys.